everyone. Welcome back to Everyday God with me, Jojo. I hope you've been well. I've been well myself, and I'm really enjoying these conversations that we are having, even as they feel quite vulnerable. Brené Brown says that vulnerability is courage. And my hope is that as I'm sharing these things that I would likely not share with whoever is watching, because I don't even know who's watching this on YouTube, that God is opening up and unveiling things that would be helpful for you to go deeper in your walk with Him. So, the past 2 weeks, I've been talking about how God led me to leave my job and what that looked like. Um, and last week, I shared about how He tangibly spoke to me about my needs, because a real thing about obeying God is that there are real needs attached to the decisions that we make. For example, leaving your job. And last week on Sunday, I had a really lovely conversation with a friend of mine who surprisingly also was leaving her job. And I won't tell too much of the story aside from what is, necessary. And that was one of her questions, like, what does that look like, and what if we, you have to wait for a long time, because I think she has done it before, and it took almost a year to get another job. And there was also like a sense of, why does this have to be my story? When I listen to other people and their experiences of God, it sounds like they're thriving. And this was Howard, thriving, like God has given them the job that they wanted, and the husband with the qualities that they wanted. And you know what I'm talking about. Like, these people seem to be near heaven. They have some real estate in heaven, in how their answers come so quick and so swift and without difficulty. And I think that really caused me to drill down to the possibility of, anyway, truly, what if the thing that you are coming to God to doesn't pan out the way you want it to pan out? And what if, when you come to God and you make that decision and you obey that instruction, and you do everything God is saying to do, and the outcome is nothing like you expected? Are you still willing to obey God? And I think I want to talk about then the reason why you would be obeying God and following God. And I think for me, what I have found out over time is that I was doing a lot of this because I love God. And sometimes it can be hard to conceptualize loving God because you have not seen Him, you've not seen Him with your eyes. But imagine someone who you love, like, bring the picture of someone you love in your mind now. Um, Maybe your mom, maybe your husband, maybe your child, maybe your sister, your sibling, your cousin, your relative, whoever you have decided in your heart that you love them. And I think if you observe your interactions with them, you will realize how much you're willing to do for them, even if you never get anything back. You're not doing it because they'll pay you, or they'll, pay you back, or they'll do it in time for you. You do it because you love them. And sometimes there are things you do for them and this one they would never do for me. But because I love them, I'll do it for them. And so helping someone in your life, you do it because they need it. Spending time with them, spending money on them, spending your energy, you do it because you love them, right? And if you're doing it to get something out of it, you'll realize the relationships that you've had where there was an expectation to get something back, whenever that person didn't give you the thing you wanted in return, the relationship didn't grow. maybe it kept on going, but it didn't grow in intimacy and love. It just began to have some sort of strain. And so, even with, maybe if we think about work, like our colleagues, we are bound to them because we work for an organization and we share the same values and mission. But the moment that changes and I move to another place, I don't remain in intimate friendship with all of them. I begin to build a new relationship with another group of people. But with family or with people we're married to or people we're in relationship with or even friends that we have decided this is a soul friendship, like we're going to be friendships for the long run, you realize that even when seasons change, you put in the work and the effort to remain close to them. And even when it's not working out, you still are willing to put in the effort to remain friends with them. And so I think for me that helps unpack what I mean when I say I love God. When I say I love God or I obey God out of love, it's that I've decided if God never gives me the things that I would desire for Him to give me, it's still worth it. I still want to do life with Him. I still want to pursue this relationship. I still want to be in this God swimming pool. I'm still here. And if He gives me the things, well and good, because He said, seek His kingdom and righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. So I'm not seeking for the things, because in reality, all these things that we seek God for, people have been getting without God. I mean, there are a lot of atheists, a lot of people who don't believe in God who are wealthy, own multiple homes, have multiple degrees. I mean, you can really do it without God. So then the question is, then why am I pursuing God? What's my pursuit for? Is He the prize? These things that we say in our generation. But for me, truly, God is the prize. Like I have realized, I can come to God and my pursuit is to know Him and to know Him truly. And I think because He has to be real. Because if He's not, then let me just do life without God. There's no in between. It's either black or white with this thing for me. And so I think that helps when we are processing our relationship with God, just to examine our hearts and to see, and yeah, why truly am I seeking God like this? Why am I praying? Why am I fasting? Am I seeking His hand, what He can do for me? Am I seeking His face? Do I want to really know Him? Do I want to be in intimate relationship with Him, in union with Him? And whatever comes with Him is what I want. Yeah, so that's been something that I've really had to wrestle with in this journey, because it has looked a lot like God is not giving me the things that I think I want. But then when I stop wanting them, He gives me, which is crazy. But I think I've realized God is more concerned about my heart than my reputation. He's more concerned about my motive than my logic around things and how people perceive me and how people view me. He's more concerned about my growth and maturity in Him than my success in the things of the world and accolades of the world and the things that people are celebrating in the world, because at the end of the day, those mean nothing without Him. And so I found that truly there is treasure that can be built and hidden in Him, that thieves can't steal and moths can't destroy and rust can't eat up. And so as you're thinking about your relationship with God and as He gives you instructions and you're wondering whether it's worth it and should you obey and will you suffer and all these things, I think the question is, are you willing to lay it all down and choose Christ? Yeah. And is He worth it if He's just the prize, if He is your inheritance? to take it back to my guy Abraham, because God did tell him, I am your inheritance. I'm your great reward and I'm your inheritance. And he was saying this to a guy who had just left his inheritance because he had been told to leave home, leave that wealth you have built in that place, leave that nice house you have in that place, leave everything, leave everything that he would have inherited once his dad passed on, being the son of the house. And God was saying, leave all those things, leave all that established wealth, established whatever it is you've established and settled into and has been your life, and come this way, and I'll show you what I have for you. And it's a great promise, and it's as many descendants as the stars in the skies. But even then, his wife was barren, they had never had children. So it really looked like it's vibes, you know, it's I really would have asked myself if I'm imagining this, if I was Abraham, because all my circumstances say stay in the thing that's working. Don't leave what's working to go pursue a thing where you've already failed so many times. You've tried to have a child so many times. You've already failed. Your body has told you you can't do it. And then God is telling you to go there and He'll do it for you. But I think that's why it's faith. That's why he's in the Hebrew chapter of faith, because he had God and he credited it as truth. And then it was credited back to him as righteousness. So I think for me, I've decided to follow Jesus truly, like not as a song, but truly. So if he says go left, I go left. If he says turn right, I turn right. If he says turn around and go back the way you came, I won't start saying, no, she just came from there. I'll just be like, me here, I am the sheep, you're the shepherd. Let me not pretend to have wisdom when truly all my wisdom can't catch up with you. And so this is for, I think, people who can feel that tug in their hearts to go deeper. Go deeper. Obey the Lord. Obey the Lord. Stop disobeying Him. You hear Him. You see it in your dreams. God is saying, girl or boy or man or woman, wherever you fall in the demographic. But God is like, could you please do this? And you're like, hey, no, 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 no. It doesn't make sense. It's not going to work. That's exactly the recipe for God to be at work. It needs to look like that so that it's obvious to men that you didn't do any of this by your own doing, so that it's not by power, not by might, but by His Spirit. And so my prayer is that as you are listening to this, God was reminding you, bringing to mind things that He's told you before, things that He's asked you to do, things that He has put in your mind as ideas that you've probably been too scared to do, or have had doubt, worry, anxiety about. And I pray that He gives you the peace and the strength and the courage and whatever it is you need, the faith to actually make that one step and begin walking in obedience. That's it for today. God bless you. Bye.